Hi everyone, I'm Victoria Fabbo, and this is Fabulous Foods with Victoria Fabbo. Today I'm here with my good friend, Chef Todd. Thanks, Todd, for coming on.
Hey, anytime.
I'm really excited you're here today. Chef Todd and I, we met at Benchmark Senior Living, one of the senior centers that I worked for. So Todd and I have known each other since 2018, back when I was actually a dietetic intern. And a dietetic intern who maybe drove him a little nuts because I'm the dietitian and he is a chef. And you really love butter and cream.
What if you don't have any of?
We don't have any of that today. We're doing good. Check. Chef Todd, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've been in the food industry for, what, 32 years?
Yeah. Wow.
Worked in some of the finest hotels and kitchens in the country.
Yes, you've been all over the nation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he worked for Hilton's, all the hotels. He can do a banquet chef like nothing. Banquet dinner. Yeah.
I used to be able to.
Now we're enjoying our time. Benchmark Senior Living, that's where we met. And so we're here today. We're going to make something that's healthy. Kind of like a therapeutic diet. What kind of diet do you think we're working on today?
Italian.
Italian? Yep, that's true. We're going to do Italian. We're going to do chicken cacciatore today with some roasted potatoes. So it can be looked at as like a heart-healthy therapeutic diet. So we're going to jump right on in. Okay, Chef, where are we going to start right now?
Let's start with browning the vegetables.
Okay, sounds great.
Let's turn this baby on.
Yep. And tell me, Chef, when did you start cooking?
Oh. 1982.
82? From cooking at your house, or?
No, I actually started in Danvers, Massachusetts.
Oh yeah? Where in Danvers?
Sapino's restaurant.
Oh really?
Yep.
Cooking online?
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Prep and cooking.
Prep and cooking. That's where we started too. So first olive oil, and you're gonna saute these vegetables first.
Yes.
Chef, do you want me to start cutting up the chicken in half?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So today we're doing chicken cacciatore. We have chicken thighs today, so we're just gonna cut them in half. And I'm using a red cutting board so we can differentiate what we're using. We're using red meat, so I wanna keep it separate from the vegetables. All right, Chef, tell us what you're gonna be doing.
I'm just waiting for the oil to heat up.
Okay.
And then we're gonna cook our mushrooms first because they're thicker.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll add our peppers and onions and zucchini. And we'll cook that down. We'll add our chicken.
All right, that sounds great. So here is our chicken. And I will wash my hands and I'll be right back so I can do that. Now I'm gonna demonstrate how to cut our vegetables up that we're gonna do a little side dish for. All right, we're gonna cut up some mushrooms first. So mushrooms, when you're prepping them and you're cleaning them, I like to put the mushrooms in a bowl with water, and I rinse that a couple of times. Chef, how do you like to clean your mushrooms?
Same way.
Same way?
It just gets the dirt out of them. Mushrooms have a lot of dirt in them.
Yeah.
They're growing in dirt.
Right.
But they get caught up in the hoods. I cut mine in half.
Okay.
Just because mushrooms are, what, 80% water?
Yeah, true.
So you're going to lose 80% of your mass.
Oh, okay.
So the thinner you cut them, the less you'll have.
Right, okay, so shrinkage, that's a good point.
So we're doing a kind of a rustic dish with the whole tomatoes and the chicken thighs. It's not like a refined dish, so you don't want everything disappearing on you. If
Okay.
you slice things too thin, all of a sudden there's no trace of them.
Okay, so I'll cut these in half. Here we go.
I'm going to add
What will you be adding next, Chef?
vegetables.
All right. Chef's cutting skills are much better than mine. He's been doing this a lot longer. So he went ahead and julienned some yellow, green, and red peppers. And he also has mushrooms in there and some zucchini as well. And I have my compost bucket here, so I'm just gonna finish cutting up the onions and peppers for our main meal. Chef, it's been 5 years since we've worked together now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, 2018, when I was an intern. But now, which is really nice, is now since I am a dietitian, I got to see you again. I go around to different assisted livings in New England, and I audit them. So I do kitchen inspection, meal rounds, Chef's meal rounds are always great, and he's really kind and he feeds me. And I always give a nutrition presentation as well, which I really enjoy. And you know what I remember the most about, I always think about how when we were at Benchmark, there was always the cauliflower pizza crust was in. So back then we used to have cauliflower pizza crust, and we were like, Chef, this is so amazing. And he used to make it for us all the time. And we're like, how do you make it, Chef? And he would always say, well, I threw it against the wall to make it, because we were asking for it all the time. But we found out his secret.
Oh yeah, what was that?
I'm not going to tell people. It's a secret.
Okay, now we're going to add chicken thighs.
Okay.
I want to have these skin side down so they crisp up, so they're not all soggy.
Okay. So whenever you cook chicken thighs, you cook it skin side down.
Right, it's like cooking duck.
Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Smells good.
Getting there.
And then, Chef, what do you have going on in that other pot there?
This is going to be roasted potatoes.
Ooh, okay.
We boil them first so they're nice and creamy in the middle. So
Yep.
when we cook them, they don't dry out and get hard on the outside, and they're still hard in the middle.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you said that, and a really great reminder. So
Oh,
boil the
okay, yeah.
potatoes first, and
Yeah.
then we'll roast them again after. All right. Thank you, Chef.
Okay.
What are you gonna work on next?
I'm going to keep an eye on this so it doesn't burn.
All right.
Do a little housekeeping.
Thank you. And I will do the rest. Chef, what's your favorite memory cooking? It was when I was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
So in assisted living, the state and federal guidelines, you have to make sure the menu meets the recommended daily allowances, right? So,
Absolutely.
so you know that really well.
What people don't realize, it is very regulated,
Right.
what we serve.
Yes, it is.
It's not like we wake up in the morning and go, oh, we're going to make this today.
No, no, no. We have monthly, it's planned out for months in advance. And so it's a really great thing that working with Chef Todd, because the dietitian and the chef have to work so closely together to make sure that those needs are being met.
And the one thing that people don't understand about assisted living and the kitchen staff,
Yeah,
it's not like a restaurant.
no.
You don't have 6 months to plan a menu, run it for 4, perfect it, and then turn it out to the public. Every day you go in is different,
Yeah,
and you don't get the time to practice,
nope.
and you have a lot of critics.
Yeah,
So,
you sure do. It's 3 meals a day. You can always snacks in between, and those line cooks are working really hard. And you have a lot going on.
we have a lot of support. I have to say, I've been in the business since, I don't know, 83, 84. And I worked with some of the finest chefs I worked with in the country have been in Benchmark.
Wow, that's a really good compliment. I'm glad they're treating you well. And it's been difficult though too. When I audit assisted living, we go, or any restaurant when I go and I audit them, right? They're short-staffed everywhere, so it's kind of like a gentle reminder to just know that people are short-staffed and you need patience, because they are cooking things from scratch and they take time. So if you want a great meal, it's going to take a little bit longer. So sit, relax, and enjoy your time with your company.
Right. I saw a great sign the other day.
Yeah.
It said, the whole world's short-staffed. Please be nice to people who showed up.
I like
I was
that.
like, whoa.
That's
That's
true.
pretty-
It's powerful. Be kind to those who showed up.
So we're going to add a little wine now, white wine. I use Pinot Grigio. A lot of people don't, but it's a
Okay.
white wine.
Perfect.
If you don't want to use wine, you can use water, you can use chicken broth, whatever.
Yeah.
I do the wine because I taught classic French. That's what we use. That's what we do. We add our spices.
Chef, where did you learn how to cook? Oh, what spices are you adding actually?
I'm adding garlic,
Yep.
onion powder, garlic powder, basil, a little bit of parsley. I have fresh basil to finish.
Perfect.
We're gonna put that in there. We're gonna add our whole tomatoes.
Now, what kind of tomatoes do we have there?
These are, what are they?
Cin- Peeled ones, right?
Peeled plum tomatoes and peeled plum tomatoes.
Peeled plum tomatoes, that's right. So you can grab those in the can, and those are what we're adding for our chicken cacciatore today. All right, your peppers are coming.
No worries. We'll get this going. And anyone who knows chefs, everyone's like fresh.
Yeah,
Well, if anyone owns a TV right now, fresh vegetables are hard to get.
they are.
So that's why we're doing it this way. This is something you can do at home. It's going to taste good. It's going to be nutritious.
Great,
And it's not going to break the bank.
great. Here we go. Chef, where did you learn how to cook? Usually on the line, always, right?
I went to school.
Yep. Where'd you go?
North Shore Culinary School.
Oh, yep.
I trained under 3 master chefs.
What does that mean? What is a master chef?
Someone who went through the credentials to become a master chef has a certain amount of education, a certain amount of time in the kitchen.
Wow, okay. I worked under a lot of ACF training chefs.
It's about the same.
Same. So,
Okay, we're gonna let that cook down.
all right, beautiful.
I'm gonna add a juice.
Perfect.
Stick this over here.
And something I think about too, Chef, a skill is a skill, and it takes years to learn the skills. And it doesn't need to be taught in school. It can be taught right there on the line. And I think people really need to value that chefs do take time to learn how to make cooked meals, and that their pay should be that way too, right? Because even though they might not have went to school, they took a lot of time and effort to practice their skills. Night skills are not easy, and it takes a long time to master them. So I always think, here to chefs, and the restaurants that I think, have you seen that they do, now at restaurants, they do like a tipping for the kitchen staff?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so they'll, some restaurants will have like a certain gratuity towards cooks, which I really think is really great, you know, because a pay wage is different from a server to a line cook. So,
Right.
yeah. So I think that's really nice that restaurants do that.
And check our potatoes.
All right.
You want them soft, but not too soft.
Okay.
Oh, those are perfect.
Great.
See how they're breaking apart? But
Nice.
they're not turning into mash.
Perfect. Strain them out.
Yep, I'm gonna strain them in the sink.
Okay.
I just clean that all up from the
Thank you, Chef.
other stuff. Let that cool down for a second.
Okay.
Do you have baking pans?
Yes, I do.
Perfect.
Perfect. Heard. Thank you.
Okay, we'll add a little olive oil.
All right. Nothing's wrong with a good classic roasted potato. Chef, what's the portion size we normally like for roasted potatoes? Or
4
potatoes.
ounces.
There we go. Nice. It's something to be mindful of, right? It's so good to eat something that tastes so good, but it's really important to make sure that you have your portion size correct and to come back to it. So if you like something, you already ate 4 ounces of it, and then hydrate, right? So make sure you're drinking enough water so that you are keeping yourself hydrated, and that also then keeps you a little full. So something to be mindful of. So eat what you have in front of you, give yourself a couple of minutes of enjoying it, and then if you'd like more, then go back for some more. And I'm gonna cut up some basil. I love the smell of fresh basil. It always makes me remember, I grew up in Everett and my neighbor would garden all the time. And we just go over and pick up all our fresh
Stealing
vegetables.
stuff from your neighbor, are you?
No, she was the nicest. She said, come on over, grab what you like.
Sure she did. We're gonna add potatoes to our a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
Put that in there nice. I'm gonna take a little salt and pepper. Not too much salt. I'm gonna have to.
Right.
A little.
But again, sometimes you do need salt just for a little bit of taste. It enhances the flavor always. And add a little bit of pepper.
Yep.
A little bit
Add a
more.
little onion powder. Nah, that's
Onion
good.
powder. Can never go wrong with that.
A little bit of garlic powder.
And how fine do you want this parsley for the seasoned vegetables?
That's fine.
That's okay?
Yeah, put it on the side. Okay, then we're gonna add a little more olive oil
Okay.
so it crisps up.
All right. We have our monounsaturated fat with our olive oil. Perfect.
And a little fresh thyme.
Oh, always. Here, I'll go grab that.
I got it.
You got it? Over here. Thank you. Get this out of the way. Our compost is done.
And fresh thyme on top. We use a whole sprig
Perfect.
so we can take it out before it gets too overcooked and bitter.
Wow, great idea. So pop that in the oven?
Yep.
Okay.
Pop that in at 350 for about 15, 20 minutes.
Perfect.
As our chicken's cooking.
Wonderful. All right, that's
Take
it.
this off.
Wow, that's really boiling away now, huh?
And we're gonna turn it down a little bit.
Okay. Is this a dish your mom would often make, or something that
once
you
in a
really
while.
enjoy? Yeah.
And I'm gonna, while she's doing that, I'm gonna do a little side dish of sauteed vegetables to go with our cacciatore.
Perfect.
Olive oil again.
Always. So what are you guys cooking on the menu right now that it's winter?
We're doing a lot of heavier meals.
Heavier
Stews, braised stuff,
I love beef stew.
pot roast, chicken pot pies,
Ooh,
stuff like that.
perfect.
There you go. All right, we're almost there.
Okay, perfect. Chef, how do you tell when fruits are ripe and ready to go? Do you knock twice? Do you
I go by weight.
You go by weight.
Feel.
Yeah. Okay.
If you pick up a melon that's lighter than it should be, it means it's rotten.
It's rotten. Okay. So the heavier it
And
is.
you can see the little, like a watermelon, you can knock on a little bit. Yeah, that's good.
That's good. All right, let's do it. Give it a try.
If you're ever in doubt, just cut it in half.
Yes. So I always start with the melon. I always cut it in half. There we go.
That's ready.
All right. Chef's not afraid of any steam. So there might be some water from the pan or from the steam from the chicken. So that's why that's sizzling and it's cracking right now. But
Some of
it's
the stuff
okay.
in.
Us chefs, we have numbness in our hands.
In our heads.
In our heads, perhaps, too. All right, so when I cut a watermelon, I always cut it in half. I enjoy eating watermelon when it's cubed. I don't want to eat around the rind. I just think that's way too much work. What do you think, Chef? How do you like to eat it? Make sense? Yeah. So what I go ahead and do next is I peel it from the top and I work my way down. You want to make sure you get as close to the skin as you can. You don't want to waste anything, right? Add that to our compost. in grad school, I worked as a happy hostess waitress as well. And so I'd go around to people's parties and I would set up and clean up. And I would always have to do some fruit or some vegetables for them. And I won't forget one time, I'm cutting up the watermelon, just as I am doing right now. And 5 people came to stand around me and watch me cut the watermelon. Because they were like, I've never seen anybody cut a watermelon like this before. And I was like, oh, well, it makes the most sense for me and it's easiest. And I enjoy cut up fruit, so. And at my house, we don't eat fruit unless it's really cut up sometimes. If it's ready to go, then we eat it, right? And I think that's kind of for a lot of people, kids, adults. If it's cut, ready to go, then you're really gonna enjoy it. Okay, I trim off the little sides. That's smelling really good, Chef.
Getting there.
Yeah. So any of the white, I like to just trim off.
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper you're adding to the to the vegetables?
Just a little bit.
Perfect.
More pepper than salt.
All right. Okay, next what I do when I cut the watermelon, just be careful, right, at home. Watermelon's slippery, the cutting board might be slippery. Always remember to put a paper towel under the cutting board so it keeps it nice and sturdy. So this is where you just want to make sure that you're being mindful of where your fingers are. So I like to start from the bottom and cut all the way through. It's much easier if you are using perhaps a bigger knife. All right, one layer done. I cut around, and you can turn it too, which is nice, the watermelon, if it lets you. Okay, and then the next layer.
Nice.
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Waiting.
All right, and then I like to cut it down straight. Keep cutting it. And you could stop here if you just want slices, if you think people want watermelon sticks. But I always enjoy then cubing it, because this is much easier for a kid or an adult to eat and grab with their hands to enjoy. I can't wait for spring and summer to come so we can have these. Continue to cut down. Woo-hoo. What's your favorite fruit, Chef? Am I stumping you?
No, I have a lot of them.
You do? What's the first thing that popped into your head?
Mangoes.
Mangoes. Ooh, yes. Last episode I was saying how when I was in Cabo Verde there was fresh mangoes every day, and when you just ate it, the juice just rolled down your arm.
Nice.
So enjoyable.
Check our potatoes.
All right.
Getting there.
Nice.
Another 5 minutes.
Perfect.
Smell that fresh thyme cooking.
All right. Smells good.
Now we're going to add some fresh basil to both dishes.
Okay. And Chef, why are you putting the fresh basil on at the end?
So it doesn't get bitter or overcooked.
Okay. So dried herbs you always want to cook in the beginning of the process because they take longer to take out.
The oils.
Say it again?
The oils.
The oils. You need to absorb it out. So that's why you put the dry herbs in first always. And fresh herbs you want to put in last so that, like he said, doesn't get bitter.
On the dry herbs, true, if you rub them between your hands, it'll help the oils come out faster.
Yes.
Or if you soak them, say if we were doing this with, if you wanted, it was a delicate dish, you'd soak them in the wine or something like that to get the oils out faster.
Oils out faster. Okay. And soaking it back up in the water, that's a good idea. Or wine.
It's called
so you get
blooming.
that flavor.
Blooming.
Blooming, right.
We've turned these down to a low simmer so they just keep warm, but they won't overcook.
Okay. And so at the beginning of the week, you can cut up your fruits so you have them throughout the week. I really find it easier when I have everything chopped up. I'll just grab it in the morning, pack my lunch or something like that, and it's ready to go. So put this off to the side.
All right, we'll get ready to plate any minute.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna grab one more dish. All right, so for the papaya, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half. That's
Ooh, nice.
pretty. All right, I'm gonna take out the seeds.
All right, let's check out our potatoes.
Ooh,
If you can smell that, time is just done. See how it's drying out?
that's nice.
2 minutes from now, it'll be bitter.
Great.
So you want to take that out.
Okay.
We're just gonna move these around a little bit. See how they're nice and soft, but they're gonna get crunchy on the outside.
Great. Now, do you broil it or you continue to bake it at 350?
I bake it.
You bake it. Yep. Papayas.
So the thing about cooking potatoes, a lot of people don't understand, you don't want to rush them. Because they're starch, they'll absorb all that flavor.
Yeah.
But if you cook them too fast, they won't.
Right. Cook them too fast, they won't. That makes sense. Low and slow, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like me.
Okay. Now with the papaya, you can peel it with a peeler or you can keep with the skins on. And cut off the edges. All right. Peel our papaya. Chef, you do cooking classes with your residents, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have been. We're now starting to get back up due to the restrictions.
Oh, right. With COVID, it was really difficult for residents in assisted livings or in long-term care even. The restrictions were really tight. Unfortunately, a lot of residents. What made me most sad is I was able to go and visit residents in different floors. And when we finally opened up the dining rooms back up, two residents came together and they sat at the same table finally after almost 2 years. And they were like, "Oh my God, I missed you. I haven't seen you in so long." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Victoria, we weren't allowed to go see each other." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like that's so real." Like I totally, it was really difficult for residents. And now that COVID is trying to be still being managed, it's nice that activities are back up and running. Chef Todd was really nice, and he would always teach us how to cook. I hope I was a good student. All right. Something you can also do with any fruit, you can puree it or juice it, and you can make a smoothie. I just came back from the Dominican, gratefully, with my family, my mom's 60th birthday.
Hey.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And they had fresh watermelon juice, papaya juice, and I was just like, I never think about that. I feel like sometimes we might forget that the watermelon's even in the fridge, and it might go to waste, but it'd be nice to just put it in a blender and just drink it that way. All right. Slice this up and we will be done. You're done. You're ready to go. All right. I'm going to slice this and then we'll be ready to go as well. Chef, what do you think is most important when you're plating a meal?
Presentation.
Presentation?
It depends on how you're plating it.
Do you think color? Isn't there a rule, right? odd numbers of items?
3.
3. I always remember that. If it's an even number, they don't like it on the plates. Okay.
3, 6, 9, depending on what you're doing.
Oh, you even do 6? I thought it was 3, 5, 7.
3, 5, 7. Oh, 3, 6, 9.
It's Friday. I don't know. Oh, maybe, yeah. Okay. Beautiful.
We're gonna play this 2 ways.
Okay. Show me.
Restaurant style and home style.
I love it. I like the idea.
These could be a little brown, but they're all right.
Okay.
First we'll add our potato starch, potatoes. Could be pasta, rice, whatever you want to put with it. Doesn't have to be potatoes. Then we add a couple of potatoes in the bottom of this plate.
Pretty.
We'll go with 5.
All right. I'm hungry. I'm ready to go.
The reason the rule changes if you're going to split it up.
Yep. We could do 6. Nice.
Okay. And we're going to add our chicken.
Okay. Can I help you in any way?
I'm good.
He's the professional. He knows what he's doing.
We'll add our chicken breasts.
Okay. So typically you want about 4 ounces for a meal for protein in serving?
Yeah, these are about 2 ounces a piece.
2 ounces a piece?
Oh, 1.5, I think, maybe.
Yeah, that makes about sense. We did cut it in half, and also shrinkage too. With meat anyways, there's always shrinkage. It's like a stew, so ready for wintry brewing.
All right.
Got it.
We have our tomatoes.
Perfect.
Oop, making a mess.
Don't worry, that's what I do every day. And we always clean it up. What's the fun in life if you don't make a mess now and again?
Down the side.
Now we got our vegetables added.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm gonna put these right on top.
Okay. Those look great.
Yeah, I'm gonna put these right on top.
Perfect. So we have our 4 ounces of potatoes, about 4 ounces or so of protein, and then we have our half a cup as well of vegetables. So that's really a complete meal that we have, which is really wonderful.
And then
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
Chef.
clean up a little bit.
Yep.
Then the reason we put the restaurant style in a bowl like this is because it's gonna get to the kitchen, out to the customer,
Okay.
and it's gotta stay hot.
Right.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this and grab it a ladle.
Ladle. Yep.
Thanks.
Of course.
And a little broth.
Okay. So you're saying that the scoop of the bowl helps keep the heat together.
All right, and the broth will keep the chicken, the potatoes hot and moist. And if you're doing it at home, you could just give it to kids like that.
It still looks great.
And you can garnish with a little Parmesan cheese or whatever you like. Fried shallots, whatever. There you have it.
Looks good. Thank you, Chef, for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure.
I'm glad you came. I hope you
Me
come and
too.
join us again.
Yeah, hopefully I'm feeling a little better. I have to apologize. My shoulder's been bothering me.
Hey, you just cooked us a whole meal, so thank you. And I hope you recover soon.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys, for joining us. This is Victoria Fabbo with Chef Todd, and thanks for joining us on Fabulous Foods. I hope you enjoy your day.